Welcome to the show. It's another week closer to Christmas, well into Advent now. I've got my appropriate colors on here, I think, for Advent, but my favorite time of year. So many people with smiles on their faces, and I want to award my Community Champions of the Week this week to a group that does so much to help people recognize the true meaning of Christmas. And those are the priests, the ministers, and other religious folks in this area who do so many things to help us keep in mind that true meaning of Christmas. I think about my own parish. I'm Catholic by faith, but attend St. Vincent Church in Elm Grove and Wheeling, and think about Monsignor Hudock and Father Gary Negley and all the things they do to not only help remind us, but also the things they do that just bring a peaceful setting to us, that the music, the decorations around the church, the messages that they deliver each week at Mass. And when I look at my other friends around the area who are of other faiths, I know their ministers do the same things. You know, I look at even in my own law firm, Jay Stoneking, who's a lawyer at our office, is also a Baptist minister, and he does so many things, I know, for the people at his church to bring about the Christmas season and to recognize that we do celebrate this time because it's when Jesus was born, and was born for all of us and came into the world so that he could not only live but also die for us. So I think if we all keep that in mind in Christmas, we'll remember that's really what it's all about, that the parties, the gifts, the being together with family are all certainly important parts of it, but there's a reason we do all that, and that's to celebrate the birth of Jesus. So congratulations and thank you to all of those priests, ministers, and everyone else who's part of the religious community that does such a wonderful job to bring that Christmas spirit to us all. Along those same lines, my quote of the week is also coming from a religious person. Not the first time that I've used a quote from this person, and that's St. Teresa, formerly Mother Teresa, canonized in the past year by the Catholic Church. And the quote was, "It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving." It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. And maybe that's another way just to say it's the thought that counts, is a little bit of a way to do that. And if you put a lot of your heart into what you give, it doesn't matter how much money you have to spend on that gift, how big the gift is or how small it is. If you put your heart into it and you really try to find the right thing because you think it'll be special to the person to whom you're giving it, then that's really what giving is all about. And it doesn't always have to be a physical thing. It doesn't have to be a physical gift. It could be spending time with someone. It could be having a conversation. It could be writing a letter or a card. There are a lot of gifts that can be given that are much more valuable than a tangible thing. And that may be what's most important to someone. So keep that in mind as we approach Christmas, that the right gift might be your time. The right gift might be those special words. The right gift might be mending a relationship that's been poor for some period of time and reaching out to that person and mending that relationship. So be mindful of that in those words of St. Teresa during this Christmas season. Next, the legal tip for this week. And I think with the snow we've had, that this is maybe an appropriate time to talk about this, which is as a property owner or perhaps a business owner, what obligations do you have to keep your property clear of snow, clear of other elements, things like that? And people may wonder that. And it's really not a lot different than our other obligations under the law and our civil justice system, and that's to do what a reasonable person would do or a reasonable business would do. You can't be expected, and you're not expected to be out there all day long shoveling. It snows some more, shovel again immediately. There's going to be some snow down on the ground sometimes. You can't keep up with it. You can't keep all the elements away. So as long as you're doing what a reasonable person in your shoes would do, then that's what the law requires of you. If you're a business, doing what a reasonable business would do. Now, if you let snow pile up and sit there for 5 days and it's 6 inches high, that's probably not reasonable. But if you're out there working at it, you're clearing it out, you're putting some salt down, you're doing the things that you should do to make it safe for people that are passing by, then you're meeting your obligations under our civil justice system. And a lot of times people don't realize that. They think, well, look, if somebody falls on my sidewalk, then I'm responsible. Or if somebody falls at my business, I'm responsible. Well, that's not necessarily the case. There are very few areas in our law where we have what's called strict liability, meaning that you're responsible regardless of whether you are acting as a reasonable person or not. There are some activities where there is strict liability. For example, ultra-hazardous activities, such as maybe blasting, like dynamite, things like that. If you're conducting an ultra hazardous activity and someone gets hurt, then you may be responsible whether you were acting as a reasonable person would or not. But that's very rare, those instances. Most of the time it's just what a reasonable person would do. Certainly most instances are that way. And taking care of your property in the normal fashion certainly falls into that category of reasonable person duties. So be mindful that you want to be conscientious, you want to do the right thing, but the law only requires you to do what a reasonable person would do. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to have my guest this week, who's Adam Shinsky, the Executive Director of the Wheeling YMCA. We'll be talking about all the things that may be coming up with the YMCA, what's been going on at the YMCA, and why it may be a good time of year to get that membership. Stay with us on the Jamie Bordas Show.
You know, Danoon Lumber is the place for quality natural hardwoods. And now you can take advantage of these offers to get your home ready for the holiday season. 3 1/4-inch red oak tongue and groove flooring for $4.25 per square foot. Just in time for Christmas. Children's rocking chairs only $115. Add the wow to any room with rustic walnut barn doors. As we always say, better grade, better selection, better price, better hurry. Danoon Lumber.
Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration has been restoring homes after disasters for nearly 4 decades. Through that experience, we present Panhandle Custom Homes, Kitchens, and Baths. We handle your entire project, from concept to completion, working with you every step of the way. From the budget-minded upgrade to a fully custom remodel, you can trust the Panhandle name. Panhandle Custom Homes, Kitchens, and Baths. Welcome home.
Welcome back to the show. This is the time each week where I speak with a guest, and this week my guest is Adam Shinsky, the Executive Director of the Wheeling YMCA. Adam, thanks for being on the show here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You've been at it now a couple of years as the Executive Director, but a long history at the YMCA. Really, even before you worked there, a long history. Dating back to when you were a kid, kind of growing up at the Y.
Absolutely. I started out as a volunteer, I believe, in 1994. I was 3rd grade, I believe. So.
Yeah. 3rd grade's a long time, no doubt. You're not that old, but it still goes back a while. And I understand you even met your wife out at the Y.
I did. We were both lifeguards when we met. Yeah.
That's something else. And now you got a couple kids of your own. So, well, let's talk a little bit about your background. First of all, you know, immediately before becoming the Executive Director of the YMCA, of course, you succeeded Mike Pandis, who was the Executive Director for 25 years. But you worked under Mike before that as the Programs Director, and then were elevated to the Executive Director position upon Mike's retirement. And so what's it been like being in charge of an organization like the YMCA?
It's been great. Actually, you know, everyone here's their dream job of being an NFL football player, or NBA player, or a doctor, or a lawyer as yourself. But you know, I grew up at the YMCA, and I always wanted to be in charge of the YMCA. It was just that was my dream job. I mean, the NBA thing was there for a little bit, but after a while, I realized maybe running the YMCA. So.
I've actually heard you tell a funny story about that. When you were a kid, you told Mr. Pandis that you were someday going to run the Y.
Yeah.
Tell that story. The viewers might enjoy that.
Well, maybe 5th or 6th grade at the time. It was a summer. There was not a lot going on there. Me and a buddy of mine who is now a football coach, Kurt Stein. He went to Wheeling Central as a football coach in Maryland. We were giving some of the older gentlemen a hard time in the locker room at the YMCA, running around with towels, snapping everybody. So we got reported to Mr. Pandis. We got sent to his office, and our punishment for the day was to go around the YMCA and clean everything up, clean the windows, clean all the trash and everything like that. I didn't agree with him, and he said, well, Adam, when you run the YMCA one day, you can make your decisions. Until now, get outside and start cleaning. So.
And so you made it your goal from that day on to run the YMCA, like he said. And interestingly, of course, you took his place when he retired. But so, you know, running the YMCA, you've got this, you know, big facility out in Elm Grove, and you got all these members. What would have been some of the biggest rewards of that, but what have also been some of the challenges? Well,
some of the rewards was just interacting with the members on a day-to-day basis, seeing the smiles on the face of kids when they're in a program and they make their first basket. And another thing is the YMCA is affiliated with the Miracle League of Ohio Valley now, and just seeing any Miracle League program and the kids at the Y who don't have the opportunity to come and participate in the Y a lot, just seeing their faces, those have been some of the best rewards for me taking over. So
that's been one of the big developments in the past couple of years is you know, having the Miracle League as part of the Y now, and you know, you do see so many kids that benefit from that that have some type of special needs, and now they're able to come out and participate in activities, whether it be basketball or swimming or whatever else they may be doing. And it used to be very limited. Now it's really grown.
Really, it was just 2 small sessions, 4 or 5 week sessions of baseball. Since we got involved with the YMCA, we have yoga, martial arts, self-defense classes, basketball, football, cheerleading, you name it. We've been working on volleyball. So,
and I've noticed, seeing on Facebook and in other forms of social media that a lot of the, high school kids and some of the coaches come out and volunteer their time as part of that as well. And it seems like that's really, that they benefit from that and learn from that as well.
The kids love it. Both local universities, West Liberty and Wheeling Jesuit, their players for either baseball, softball, volleyball, basketball, they've been awesome. They participate, and they don't just come once every season. They come weekly. So,
not everybody's been. A lot of people in the area have obviously been the Y for one reason or another, but some people haven't, and maybe some people haven't been in a number of years. But what are some of the opportunities or things available for the members now out at the Y that people could expect if they're a member?
We have something from for any ages 6 months. We start water babies, and then we have silver sneaker programs for we have members in their 90s, and they participate in all of our programs on a weekly basis. We have aerobic classes. We have silver sneaker and silver and fit classes for our senior citizen members. Like I said, we have swim lessons for kids of all ages. Several, you name the sport, we have the programs. Right now we're pretty big into some basketball. We just finished our girls basketball, and boys basketball is getting ready to finish up, and then we do a big league for everybody. So,
well, one of the things that people may not realize about the YMCA is there are also separate locker rooms for adults and children, and I think that's appealing to both sets of people for various reasons. I mean, I think parents feel more comfortable when their kids are off separated from the adults, but also the adults, I think, probably like it so they're not being snapped by with towels like maybe you and Kurt were doing when you were younger. So I think both groups probably like that, and it's a real benefit that the Y has.
Right, and then the good thing also about those locker rooms is that the showers take you right into the pool area. So, that's a good thing. Like you said, the separation, and with the growth of the members we have and the growth of the programs we have, it's just very good to have the separate locker rooms there. So the kids can change and get to their programs while not getting in the adults' ways while they're trying to get their workout in. So,
there's obviously a large fitness room at the back of the Y that has free weights, equipment, treadmills, steppers, all the various things people use to work out. And one thing I've heard people say over the years as well, is the equipment good? Is it old? Is it broken down? Is it okay? And one of the good things I've heard in the last couple of years is that, hey, the equipment is really being kept up. It's really rare that you see downtime with it. Is that true, or what are, I'd like to know if those are myths or if those are truths. Well, maybe you can let people know that.
Well, the biggest equipment that's used is the treadmills, and right now we have 12 treadmills. 10 of those 12 are brand new. We have 2 older ones that still work really well, but those have been there since the Y expanded in 2003. We mainly, they work. You can go and get a good workout on those, but we mainly keep those around for some parts in case we would need extra parts. The elliptical machines, we have 10 of them now. 7 are the original ones that have been there in 2003, but they're very well maintained. They all work, and this last year we've upgraded with 3 new state-of-the-art ellipticals that give you a full workout with your arms as well. So, and then we have brand new Airdyne bikes, and the weights we maintain are dumbbells, and the strength equipment work. So yeah, our fitness center is very well maintained. So
we need to take a break. When we come back, I'll continue speaking with Adam Shinsky here, but we'll talk about the programs that the YMCA offers, a whole host of things from basketball, swimming, and many others. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show.
Every day, more than 70,000 puppies and kittens are born in the United States. Just one female can contribute more than 2 million offspring in 8 years. At the Tiffany DeLess Spay and Neuter Clinic, we are trying to help. We offer reduced cost services to income qualified families from all over the Ohio Valley. We understand that the cost of owning a pet can be overwhelming, and that stress multiplies when they do. Call the Tiffany DeLess Spay and Neuter Clinic or visit us online to find out if we can help you.
People always ask me what it means to be a dealer for the people. For the people is a simple idea. It means we believe that everybody deserves to drive a nicer, newer car. This belief drives the entire team at Robinson Auto Group to care more, to try harder, and to work smarter. Whatever's keeping you from driving that car you want, I guarantee we'll try our best to help you. We're Robinson Auto Group, and we're the dealer for the people.
Welcome back. I've been speaking here with Adam Shinsky, the Executive Director of the Wheeling YMCA. We've been talking about the facilities and what's available at the YMCA, but I want to turn our attention, Adam, to a different part of the Y, and that's the programs, which are so important because they provide an opportunity to so many kids, not just in Wheeling, but the greater Ohio Valley. When I go in there, I see kids from all over the valley, whether it be Shady Side or Moundsville or wherever in there, St. Clairsville, Morristown. They're coming into the Y and being a part of these programs, and I know it's something with your background as the programs director, as we talked about earlier, something that's important to you and it's important to the Y.
Absolutely. Those the programs. That's how I got my start at the YMCA, volunteering, keeping score and keeping book. And we have, since I've been in the executive director position, we have tried to increase, and I think we have succeeded in the programs that we offer. Not only the sports we run, but the age groups that we offer the program. So.
That's something I found interesting. I mean, there are now preschoolers that are involved in these programs. You wouldn't think typically that preschoolers could play basketball, for example, but there are things that are skills clinics for the preschoolers. They may not be going out and playing a game yet. They're not ready for that. They're learning how to dribble, learning how to do the other things you have to do to play the game. We
just finished a preschool sports program. The instructor is Mr. Don Chamberlain. He is the volleyball coach at Shady Side High School, and he brought his team with him down. They wanted to do some volunteer hours, and he basically set it up as a big clinic. Set one side of the gym, we had a football toss, we had a little miniature golf course set up, just different skills each week. They did basketball, dribbling, baseball hitting, and everything like that. And we have over 60 kids when we have preschool sports programs. So I mean, the need in the valley for 3- and 4-year-old programs is there, and we've been providing it. So.
When people think of the Y, they oftentimes think of the basketball, flag football, the swimming, because the pool and the swimming program has been so successful for so many years. But there have been a lot of new programs introduced at the Y too that maybe people wouldn't have thought of over the years, and now they're being offered as well.
Yeah, big thing this time of year is our snow camp. On 2-hour delays, well, we don't offer anything, but once school is canceled, we have a all-day sports program for kids that come to the Y, and they get an hour of swimming, and we eat lunch for an hour, and the rest of the time they're playing basketball, football, organized games. And the good thing about those programs is our staff are all teachers, whether it's been Ohio County, Marshall County, or in the parochial school. So.
Yeah, and that's a program that's also been certified by the state, the daycare and things like that.
Yeah, all our child care, whether it's no school program, snow camp, we're all state child care certified. So.
There are some other sports programs that are, somewhat newer in recent years, like lacrosse to the Y. What are some of the other sports that are offered now besides the ones that we've already mentioned?
Well, as you said, lacrosse, and prior until about 2 years ago, the YMCA never really did much with soccer, and we do some summer soccer clinics now, and we do indoor soccer in the wintertime, and both of those programs have taken off. So.
Yeah, of course, and one of the nice things is that it seems like the Y's programs are mirroring a little bit what you see at the upper levels. Lacrosse has become bigger at the high school level here in the Valley, and now we're seeing it introduced at an earlier age.
Right.
Soccer, of course, for the last couple of decades has been bigger here in the Valley, but it took some time to where the Y was able to introduce that and do that at an earlier age, but it's being done now.
Right.
And it seems like it's just always jam-packed with kids every time you walk in the Y, some type of programs if it's not school hours.
Right. That, and not only that, but as you said with the kids, but we have tried, Curtis McGee, our program director, we went to a conference in the Charleston YMCA. It does a lot of programs for their adults, and we have started to bring some adult programs, and a program that we're really proud of that just finished up was we had a women's basketball league, and it's hard enough in this area to get a men's basketball league started with, the interest is there, but with people working and everything like that. So, we tried a women's basketball league. We had it later in the night, and it worked out really well. It was a success. So.
My wife Stacy played and really enjoyed it. Was glad you did that.
Yeah.
I saw she can still shoot a three-pointer, and in fact, one game she nailed a bunch of them. So, but the women in that league really did seem to be having a good time. Let's talk a little bit about some of the upcoming things. I mean, there's some childcare available over the Christmas holidays here, and then also even a big New Year's overnighter that you have.
Right, I believe in Ohio, our childcare calendar follows Ohio County Schools calendar. So their last day of school is Tuesday. So on Wednesday, excluding Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve and Christmas Day and New Year's Day, of course, we have childcare from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Those are the drop-off times and the pickup times. And every day there's no school in Ohio County, the kids are welcome to come to the Y. swim, play sports. And
Do you have to be a member?
no, you don't have to. You do not have to be a member. All of our prices for those are on our website at www.wheelingymca.org. You cannot sign up for those because of the paperwork for the state. You have to come to the Y and sign up for those, but all the information's on the website.
Okay. And then this New Year's overnighter sounds like something that's fun for the kids too.
New Year's Eve overnighter, that's a great event. You know, a lot of our staff are younger teachers, and the program kind of went away for about a year or two, but we brought it back this year just because it's hard to find the good staff on the New Year's Eve. You know, they want to spend some time with their friends and family too. But when we run the New Year's Eve overnighter, we're guaranteed to have 80 to 100 kids there. So, and
When you say overnighter, I mean, what time do they get there? What time do they leave?
We start the program at 7 p.m. on December 31st, and the parents have to pick them up by 9 a.m. on January 1st. So that gives the parents a chance to, you know, sleep in a little bit if they went to some functions with their friends and everything like that, and the child can get picked up at 9 o'clock.
So bring a sleeping bag and a pillow.
Sleeping bag, pillow. We provide movies, sports, all the food, all the snacks, and it's a good time.
A gift certificate's also available at the Y right now. If you're looking for something for someone for Christmas, you can get someone a gift certificate for a Y membership.
We sell gift certificates. We sell a lot of gift certificates for memberships, and you know, recently a lot of people have came in. They might just want a gift certificate for a program, or for maybe 5 or 6 private lessons, or a month worth of group swim lesson. Those are available too. We actually call them Y bucks. Someone can come in and say, we want 25 Y bucks. We make their certificate up, and they can put that towards a membership program, anything they want. So personal training with James Youngblood, anything. So.
Well, that's great. Well, it sounds like you're doing a lot of things out there, a lot of good things, and congratulations, and appreciate you being on the show here today.
Oh, thanks for having me again, Jamie. Thank you.
We need to take a break. When we come back, I'll be talking sports. Stick around.
At Progressive Bank, our loan process is unique. It's personal. Our local lenders ease your mind and help you get the loan you need and deserve. Progressive Bank, personal bankers with millions to lend to local families and businesses. Come in, Ohio Valley. We're lending.
Fighting for homeowners.
Fighting for workers.
Fighting for children.
Fighting for mineral owners.
Fighting for patients.
Fighting for policyholders.
Bordas and Bordas, fighting for justice.
Progressive Bank understands borrowing money can be a daunting experience. Our local lenders ease your mind and help you get the loan you need and deserve. Progressive Bank, personal bankers with millions to lend to local families and businesses. Come in, Ohio Valley. We're lending.
Welcome back to the show. Let's talk sports for a little bit. I want to start off by awarding a Sports Person of the Week award, and that award goes to Le'Veon Bell. How can it not? Set the single-game rushing record for the Steelers franchise, outgained the Buffalo Bills by himself last week in the 27-20 victory over the Bills. Got a little bit too close at the end there. Had to dodge an onside kick, but nonetheless, the Steelers really controlled the game. And you know, when you can control the line of scrimmage on both sides, on offense and defense, you're probably going to win. Despite Ben having 3 interceptions during the game, usually you see an NFL quarterback have 3 interceptions, that team's probably going to lose. But the Steelers were so dominant up front, and Le'Veon Bell had such an incredible game that it just didn't matter. And that's 4 in a row now for the Steelers. I mean, you beat the Browns, you think, oh, okay, they beat a winless team. They beat the Colts there without luck. Beat the Giants, you start saying, hey, they got something going here. And now to go on the road and beat a Buffalo team that was kind of surging in some ways and had a staunch defense most of the year, and to go in and do that, now some eyes are being opened and saying, hey, the Steelers are a Super Bowl contender. And now they get Cincinnati this weekend in Cincinnati. And this game has me a nervous wreck. Not so much because of what the outcome will be, but just are they going to be able to get through the game without having someone injured? I mean, it seems like every time we play these guys, there is some type of injury to a significant player. Of course, last year, the Steelers won the battle, but perhaps lost the war in the playoffs when Antonio Brown knocked out of the game by a cheap shot by Burfict, the Bengals linebacker, and Antonio Brown has to miss the game the next week against the Broncos, and of course the Steelers are eliminated. So I'm going to be sitting there with my fingers crossed the entire game, just hoping that nobody significant gets any type of significant injury. I think the Steelers win this game in Cincinnati. I think they win it close. I think it'll be a field goal, but I want to see, can they get through the game without major injuries? It's got me worried. Let's keep an eye on that, and let's hope for the best. Baltimore, of course, lost this past weekend, this past Monday night against New England. Perhaps the only time in my life I'm actually rooting for New England, and New England almost blows a second half lead for the first time in years. But New England did hold on to beat the Ravens, allowing the Steelers to gain that one game lead in the division. So now the Steelers have a one-game lead and have left after Cincinnati that game against Baltimore on Christmas Day, and then the New Year's Day game against the Browns. Baltimore, similar schedule. I mean, they have to play Cincinnati still, they have to play Pittsburgh still, and their other game is against the Eagles this weekend, in fact, at home. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. The Steelers have the edge, but the Ravens hold a tiebreaker right now with the win earlier in the year over the Steelers, but the Steelers can do something about that by beating the Ravens then. So big games this weekend for both the Steelers and the Ravens. If the Steelers can get a win and the Ravens would lose to Philly, that gives the Steelers 2 games up, with Cleveland being one of the games left. So big game this weekend because they can kind of take care of the Ravens themselves when they play them. So this is the big one, I think, is to go to Cincinnati and get this win this weekend. Let's talk college football for a minute. I haven't really had an opportunity to talk about the bowl games yet on this show, but WVU, I like this draw against the Miami Hurricanes. The reason I like it is that it's not necessarily a marquee game. You know, it's not one of the New Year's Six or any of those types of things, but when you have a name like Miami, who over the years has been successful, you're just coming off the big release of the ESPN Catholics versus Convicts 30-on-30 story about Notre Dame versus Miami back in 1988. A lot of hype about Miami there because of that. And when you get those teams where there's a lot of hype, WVU is going down to Florida to play in the game in Orlando, a lot of Florida players on the WVU roster, and excited about playing Miami, a team that was, you know, I don't want to necessarily call them a rival, but a conference member back when both teams were in the Big East that WVU didn't always fare too well against. I think only won 3 times. But a lot of excitement for this game, and I think the Mountaineers will do very well because of the excitement that was generated. If they were going to this same bowl, playing a team with a similar record, but was maybe a team that didn't have quite the same name draw, if it was maybe, say, an NC State or someone like that, I don't think the Mountaineers will get as up for this game, but I think they'll be way up to play Miami. I think they'll win this game. I not only think they'll win it, but I think they may win it by a couple of touchdowns, but we'll talk more about that game in the upcoming weeks. Ohio State, of course, has the big game against Clemson, and that game, of course, part of the college football championship, and I'm excited for that one. I think the Buckeyes are the team that has the potential to knock off Alabama if they can get to that game. I don't think Clemson's going to be easy for them, but I think Ohio State has an awful lot of talent. I picked Michigan to get to the Final Four. I thought they would be there instead of Ohio State. Ohio State made it, and I think they'll make the most of it, and I love Urban Meyer coached teams. Urban is always been one of my favorites since the days when he was coaching the receivers at Notre Dame when I was there. He was a great coach then, and obviously he's had an ultra-successful career. And WVU basketball, what a great start they've had to the season. Fun to watch. If you haven't tuned into the Mountaineers game, do it. Press Virginia is for real. I mean, it is a fast-paced, flying around style of basketball that is a lot of fun to watch and going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of their opponents. That's probably all I can get in this week. Thanks for being with us again. We'll see you again next week. Have a great week.